Hello, my name is Eunice. So this is my alternative assignment for the live class number 1. I reviewed the video, but I'm not able to talk and watch the video at the same time. So I'm just going to go through the slides that were posted and just add my comments on, the slides. So the first slide was about an unpopular opinion, stating that the science of behavior is possible. This was actually surprising to me because I didn't know that was unpopular. But I guess for individuals outside of the field of behavior analysis or unfamiliar with, how the environment impacts behavior, I could definitely see why this is unpopular and why people really don't understand that behaviorism is a science in fact. So behaviorism is defined as a science of behavior is possible. Is this a good definition? I think it is a good statement. I wouldn't say this is a good definition, just because it doesn't go in depth about what behavior is, what it looks like in the scientific aspect of it. You mentioned that note that behaviorism is not a science of behavior, but a philosophy. This part I can agree on. As much as we all believe that behaviorism is scientific and is influenced by science and the environment around us, there are people and other professionals who don't believe that behaviorism is a science, right? So it is a philosophy because it's not believed by everyone, and no matter how much science or evidence supports it, everyone's going to have their different opinions based on their educational background, based on what they prioritize, and based on what they specialize in. So I definitely agree with that one. You went on to talk about the history of psychology as a science. This was actually a good recap. I think that science is not my strong suit, which is surprising because we're in behavior analysis and we consider it to be a science. But I feel like sometimes as behavior analysts, we forget that our field goes beyond what we learn and what we believe and what we know. And I think that's one of the biggest things in the field of ABA that I would like to see change or would like to see improve is that we are more collaborative, especially with other fields, whether they're, other psychology fields, mathematic fields, scientific fields, whatever the fields are. I feel like we could do a better job at collaborating because everything that we do or everything that, that we do on a daily basis is founded off of some other type of field, right? So whether it's scientific, math, English, I think that everything is collaborative and we should continue to recognize that. So that goes along the lines of dualism in psychology and other sciences. Okay, a list of problems with psychology based on introspection. So there's a little agreement among introspectionists. When agreement does occur, it could be attributed to the fact that introspectionists can be sorry, I'm reading it. So this part I'm actually a little bit confused on. I think the slides are very detailed, but this would be something I would have to do a little bit more research on to better understand, what it truly means and how it impacts us. And then I appreciate that you go back to speaking of behavior as a science. So it incorporates, as you mentioned, pre-scientific approaches, social scientific approaches, and natural scientific approaches. So again, this is another area that I feel like I can just learn more about because I'm not very strong in these areas as much as we use it and as much as we incorporate it in the field of behavior analysis. Okay, what is the goal of science of behavior to a pragmatist, a realist? This is another area that I'm actually very interested in the concept of realism. I know that I've done a lot of research in philosophy, more so in like religion and conspiracies about whether God is real or whether God is not real, right? So I've done a lot of research on what they call the problem of pure evil. So they kind of say that, if God is so pure and good, how does, evil exist, or why does evil exist? And I know that doesn't really necessarily have to do anything with behavior analysis, but I think it goes along the lines of like that realism and the fact that, in philosophy or other fields, like what's real is what we can see, like tangible, visual objects or ideas, like that's real. So if we can't see it, if we can't touch it, if we can't feel it, then it's not considered to be real, right? In behavior analysis, we typically don't use the word realism a lot, but a lot of things we do kind of are rooted in realism, right? So behaviors, they have to be measurable, they have to be measurable, they have to be objective. We have to be able to see them and alter them based on what we see and what we can feel. So I think that realism is a concept that we can kind of go more in depth in when it comes to behavior analysis, because I think it's something that we inadvertently kind of implement in all of our programming and our thoughts and our ideas, but we don't necessarily know that we do it on a continuous basis. You spoke about mentalism, or by you, the chapter spoke about mentalism. I know that mentalism was something that I discussed, or I read a lot about during my during my master's degree in ABA. And you spoke about, the mind-body problem. So these are all things, again, that I would like to learn more about, because it's something that we use in the field of behavior analysis, or even outside of behavior analysis, but we don't really mention it as much as we need to, and it's super important. But yeah, okay, thank you.